All right, I accidentally hit start. This is the strangest thing that's ever happened to me. So I'm assuming I'm live. Let me figure that out first. Wow, this is going to be interesting. So I do have this idea in my head, which is a good thing. And I kind of know what I want to talk about today. But I did hit this button quickly. But I'm going to jump right in. I don't have much time for this live stream. I'm going to use an A harmonica. Let's get right into it. Let's learn some of these cool lines that don't feed directly off of the root note. And if you're wondering what's a root note is simply the root note of the chord that you're playing against. So the key that you're playing in for the one chord, the two draw, root note, that's your one chord, four blow, and four draw. So these root notes are common and everyone goes there. So today we're just going to take a minute and learn some cool lines feeding off of the 1 and 4 chord is the focus today. Okay? And I'm just going to simply play these lines and let you ear train them. I'm going to spend probably about 10, 15 minutes today doing that, and then I'm going to wrap it up. So welcome. Thanks for giving the video a like, subscribing, and checking this out. Sounds like this. And it does come from, I believe these lines come from a Big Walter tune. Don't get around much. I need to look it up. But the first line is definitely feeding off of some of that Big Walter influence. So really, I should back this up and say, and I'll slow this down, but I should say that I am using a root note. I just realized right out of the gates, I'm playing two draw. But the line that forms, and really the thing I wanted to communicate today is when you're working with root notes, it's important to center all these other cool notes around them, especially what we have available on hole 3, which is where I'm focused. A harmonica. And again, that line comes, I'll look it up. It's straight off of a really well-known Big Walter tune, and I'll put it in the description. I'll do that later. I'm not going to get distracted. But these lines are really nice. They kind of fit together like puzzle pieces, and that's why I like them. The 5 chord area, just to mention it quickly, I'm not really too concerned about replicating one idea or a similar version of what I played on the 1 and the 4 chord. What I'm doing is just exploring, and I encourage you, if you're going to work this type of exercise or these lines with or without a backing track, become free with the 5 chord area. Search for new go-to notes that you begin on. So here it is really slow. A harmonica, somebody, let me pin that in the chat real quick. We're in second position. Again, welcome if you're tuning in. Here's the line slow. We're about to hit the beginning here. Here's a trick on the 1. Or no, all of it. Just when you're learning lines or decoding licks. I've said this before, it bears repeating. If you're really struggling with the phrase, count the notes. Don't have the harp in your hand. Just count the notes. Bop, 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 bop. You don't even have to sing it. Just bop, da, 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 da. We know there's 5 notes. Now you can try to hum it. Da 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 da. Try to get the melody in your head or the lick in your head. Then pick up the harp. Just takes a little practice to control that 3 area. Check out the pinned comment, Tim. I've pinned the key of the harp up there in the comments. It's an A harp. And the chords, you're just going to have to figure out and listen to what I'm doing. I'm just using them to maintain the rhythm and keep time. I will give you a hint. You're ending this, the lick contains on the 1 chord, no blow notes. So naturally, you're going to need to get your air out. So when you begin playing the chords, you'll land on the blow chord 1, 2, 3. And the 4 chord, just blow and draw notes. No bending needed at all. It's still 5 notes that you're working out. And that one's really important because, again, I made this comment about trying to stray away from all root note areas. Now we're landing on this note. You know what it is? 5 blow. And it's definitely not a root note. It's not the 4 blow. But it's a wonderful place to break the rut. I go to the 5 blow constantly as a 4 chord move to develop ideas. Bring in the octaves if it's too easy. Bring in some dirt. See what you can do to bring in the coloring and the layering on top of all this good stuff. So again, we're just talking about cool lines that you can learn that sort of help you maybe come up with new ideas and break the mold of what you've been doing. I love these melodic lines. Another thing that comes to mind before we wrap up today, before I get carried away or on another tangent, is obviously these are things I've talked about, but I want to mention it because it relates to this discussion today, which is thinking about your working on bass lines and grooves. And what you want to do when you work those. I think a lot of people get confused what to do with information when they collect it. They learn a skill or a technique, or they learn bass lines. They learn whatever they're learning, but they don't ever actually use it when they play. So I'm here to tell you that is crucial, and I would encourage you to think about bass lines as things that we practice in their entirety off stage. And on stage, we don't always bring in, sometimes it can be done, we just don't always need to bring in the exact replication of the practice. So if the bass line is, and so on. If this is the bass line, we don't need to play that. You could play that. You could start a song that way. You could play that in its entirety. And then once the band's taken it away, you want to depart from that. But you could just bring pieces in. And that's what's really fun and cool. It's just... And all these notes are going to work over the chord changes so you can start to get creative with how you chop and dissect the bass lines. And that is a wonderful strategy for higher level improvisation. And that's kind of the stuff on my mind this morning. I have a member call. If you're not a member, listen, it's ridiculous what's happened at the membership right now. And members don't even fully know all of what I'm about to share, but I have been pumping out classes and guest artist classes each month. That means classes that I teach and guest artist classes with Hank Shreve. We had one yesterday with Joe Falisco, one of the best classes I've ever done or offered. I didn't do it. Joe taught the class, but I hosted it on Sonny Terry. It was a methodical breakdown of variations of his rhythms that he plays and some of the famous licks and lines, and it was incredible. If you missed it, you can still get it. But I'm also going to be adding additional classes, most likely, and I am working on ways to create a little bit of a community vibe with the membership. So if you have ideas on that, or you want to chime in and let me know what you think about ways to develop that community out further, let me know, because I think it's really important. When I do these Q&A sessions for gold members, which means we get together and we just share and ask questions. They come on mic and play. It's apparent that everyone is really digging the interaction, and often members connect outside of these sessions. So I know community is a big part of it. And of course, members have access to everything I've ever created. So it's a wealth of knowledge, and silver members starts at $35 a month. Best thing you can do for your harmonica education. And if you want to support me, that's the best way to support me. I can give you more value that way than any other way. Of course, there are other things you can do, but just buy a class on the website. But that's the best way. And I want to say thank you to the members that are here on my YouTube membership, which is totally different perks. That is extremely valuable and helpful to me as well. And if that is what works for you, just keep doing that. I appreciate it. So thank you so much. All right, here we go. I'm going to play it one more time before I go today. I'm going to start to put some flair on it. So a little bit of get it to sound a little more exciting. Ah. There it is. I've thrown in that creative little in between. Scrambled my brain when I went to the 4-chord and I missed that line. That happens. It's all good. So get those lines down. They're cool ones to bring in, and you can change up. This doesn't need to always just be a shuffle kind of thing like that you're using it against. You can be creative and work on the phrasing of the notes to adjust for other types of styles and grooves that you're doing. So that's what I got today. Hope it was helpful. Hope you had fun. Thanks for joining the live stream if you're here live, and if you're watching as a recording, thanks for checking out this video, giving it a like, and of course, subscribing to this channel. I'll see you on the next one.